start seated today. So let's find a comfortable cross-legged position. Remember, if knees or hips bother you at all, you can always sit on a block or, a really thick book if you're at home. So that's always an option for you. Let's find our shoulders back and down, good posture, long spine, lifting through the crown of the head. And we're just going to start with a little bit of breathing. And here at first, just noticing your regular breath. Try to breathe like you do when you don't even think about it, just your everyday breath. So if you're like most people, that normal breath, your just day-to-day breath that you breathe when you don't even think about it, is probably pretty short. It's pretty small. It's pretty unnoticeable. Most of us don't even think about our breathing unless we're doing yoga or some form of physical fitness. Typically that everyday breath is pretty shallow. We don't use our full lung capacity when we just breathe regularly. So that's why doing some breathing practice is really good for us. We can actually improve our lung capacity and elasticity by doing some breathing exercises where we really try to fill, expand, and then contract our lungs. And that's another reason why we sit up nice and tall. We want to give our lungs all the room they need to be able to fill up with air. So now let's move into our yoga breathing, where we try to fill the lungs, starting from the bottom, moving up, up, and up, all the way to the top on that inhale. Holding it for just a second, and then releasing from the top, the middle, and finally the bottom. So it's like filling up a jar, filling it up slowly from bottom to top, and then we're going to pour it out. We're going to empty it out from the top all the way to the bottom. So everybody's breathing is a little different, so it doesn't have to be coordinated with my breath or your neighbor's breath. You find the breath that is comfortable for you. But we're trying to do a bigger, deeper breath than your regular day-to-day breathing. As you do your yoga breathing, you should be able to hear yourself breathe. Your mouth is closed, so you're breathing in and out just through your nose. Let's add our arms in with this breathing. So inhaling as we sweep those arms up. Exhaling as we reach out through those fingertips. Nice and slow. Let's do 2 more breaths like this with the arms. And then we'll bring those hands wherever you want to set them. Knees, lap, wherever you're comfortable. And we're going to start to circle around. Trying to keep that spine nice and long and straight as we circle. As you feel the body loosen up a little, maybe your circle becomes a little bit bigger, but always listening to your body. Let's reverse and go the other direction. Let's go one more time around, and then we'll meet back in the center. So a little bit later on, we're going to do a few spinal twists. So we're going to go ahead and get a gentle spinal twist in here to start with. So let's take the right hand over to the left knee, and let's take that left hand behind us. We want to try to feel our body twist at the waist. We want to pull the left shoulder back. And if it's comfortable, we want to look over that shoulder, seeing if you can see the mirror or wall behind you. Breathing through your twist. Remember that nice deep breathing we just did. Let's do one more big inhale. And we'll exhale as we release back to center. Let's do the other side. So left hand over to the right knee. Right hand comes behind us. We turn at the waist. The shoulders pulling that right shoulder back. And looking over that shoulder if it's comfortable. One more big inhale. And let's exhale as we release back to center. All right, we're going to start with our right hand on the floor. We're going to reach that left hand up and then over. You can come down to the elbow on the floor, or you can stay up off of that elbow. We're going to switch sides. Let's exhale as we reach over. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, keeping that arm up above you. We don't want that shoulder to drop. We don't want that arm to drop in front of us because we lose our nice lengthening through the side body. Feel like as you reach over, you're creating space between every rib on that side. Let's do one more on each side. And let's come back to center. All right, we're gonna grab onto the front of the knees or the shins. We're gonna inhale as we round it forward, drawing that forehead closer to the floor. And then as we exhale, we're gonna pull back, getting a nice stretch across the back of the shoulders. Inhaling forward, and if it feels good to you, you can sigh that breath out on the way back. Like a big sigh of relief. Let's do one more. And from here, we're gonna release all the way back. We're gonna hug those knees in, and let's do our little side to side rock. Massaging the low back. We're gonna drop those feet back down to the mat. We're gonna open those arms up like a T at our sides. We're gonna take an inhale while those knees are in the center. Then as we exhale, dropping both knees to the right. Try to keep that left shoulder down on your mat. Inhaling as you bring knees through the center. Exhaling, knees to the left. So go for that nice, deep, full yoga breath that we were practicing here. Take your time, moving slowly. We're keeping the back of both shoulders down on the floor as we do this side to side twist. Let's do one more on each side. We're going to meet back in the center. And now we're going to pick the feet up. So we're going to try to bend those knees at about 90 degrees. Let's take our inhale. Exhaling slowly, carefully lowering those knees over to the right. Still trying to keep that opposite shoulder down. If those knees won't go all the way to the floor, that's fine. You could use your block and slide it underneath those knees so they have something to rest on. You can use your right hand on that top of that left knee to add to the twist if that feels good to you. And maybe turning your head and looking out to your left hand. Go back to that good, deep, full, slow yoga breathing. Let's bring the knees back up on that next inhale. And then slowly with control, exhaling, knees over to the left. Right shoulder stays down, maybe taking that block over that side with you. Or maybe using that left hand on the top of the right knee to add to the twist. Maybe turning your head and looking to that right hand as you breathe. On your next inhale, let's bring those knees back to center. And then we'll drop those feet back down to the floor. All right, let's hug those knees into the chest. And we'll take one arm above our head, rolling to our side to come up slowly. We're going to find our way to hands and knees. And we're going to go ahead and sit back on those heels and find that extended child's pose. Reaching out toward the top of your mat with those fingertips, reaching so far to pull the forearms up off of your mat. Resting your forehead if it's comfortable, and as always, giving yourself permission to return to this child's pose anytime you need it during practice. All right, let's add some movement here. Inhaling, we're going to rock forward and find our kneeling plank. Exhaling as we stretch it back. Stack shoulders over wrists, pull that belly button up toward the spine, finding a strong modified plank. And when you're ready, we're going to add that chaturanga move. Bending at the elbows, keeping them in close, and pressing back to stretch it out. Holding on to your core stability as you lower down. The hips don't touch. The abdomen doesn't touch. We want to keep that belly button pulled up and in. Making sure you send the elbow back as you lower down. So I'm going to try to show that from the side, that as you lower down in here, the elbows move back toward the waistband of the pants. So we don't want the elbows to come out to the side when you lower down. You want them to go back. Let's do 2 more, and then we'll meet back in our extended child's pose. Turning this into our half series vinyasa. We're going to inhale as we come out. We're going to exhale as we lower, this time coming all the way down, but slowly with control. Inhale, slide forward, and find cobra, engaging the low back. And then exhale as you press back to find those heels. Let's do that 3 more times. Back in extended child's pose. Let's find our way to our first downward facing dog. So tucking those toes under, tipping that tailbone up, and we're gonna walk those feet. Press through one heel and then the other to help warm up, loosen up the calves and the Achilles. And let's be still in our plank. Feel like you are trying to push your mat toward the front of the room. You're trying to tip that tailbone up nice and high. And now we're going to move back and forth. We're going to find full plank, nice and slow. And then we're going to tip back up to downward facing dog. Feel like you're trying to push your mat away from you as you move into down dog. Let's meet back in downward facing dog. Now let's turn that into our half series vinyasa. Inhaling full plank. Of course you have the option to drop your knees here. We're going to exhale as we lower with control. Inhale, you can go cobra or upward facing dog. Exhaling back to down dog. Let's do that 3 more times. Let's walk our feet up toward our hands. If you want, you can grab your block as you come along if you need to bring the floor up a little bit closer. We're going to find an easy forward fold. So some softness in the knees so you can rest the torso on top of the quads. And then you can release your head and neck and relax the arms and shoulders and just let gravity pull you down into this easy forward fold. And now on your next inhale, coming up halfway, half lift, flattening, lengthening, straightening that back, and then exhale, releasing back into that easy forward fold. Inhaling as we come up, exhaling as we drop back down. Option to float those arms out long by your sides, or to keep those hands on the front of the leg somewhere. Whatever feels best to you. one more half lift. And we'll meet back in forward fold. On your next inhale, let's sweep it up to the top. And let's exhale as we swan dive, hinging at the hips, flat back the entire way down, softening the knees to reach to the floor. Inhale, sweeping up. Exhale, swan diving, engaging that core on the way down to help protect that back. Let's do one more swan dive. We're gonna inhale up, and this time we're gonna exhale and sit back and find our chair pose. Option to have hands at heart center or arms extended out. Just remember, either way, an inch or two in between those knees. Feel the weight move back into your heels. We're gonna flow our chair. Inhaling up, exhaling as we sit back. Let's meet down in this next chair, bringing hands to heart center. Option to stay here with weight back in the heels, or you can try balancing chair by shifting forward, picking the heels up as high as you can, bringing that weight to the balls of the feet and the toes. Let's come on up. Shake it out. Let's grab a sip of water. And we're going to put all of that together, but we're going to add some twists in with it when we get to our lunge positions. So a little work with some more spinal twists, but also a little work with the hip flexors too. So let's start in our good mountain pose. Think about spreading your toes, grounding your feet, rooting your feet through your mat. Feel the floor beneath your mat. Zip the abdominals up and in. Lift through the crown of the head as you lengthen and grow that spine. Let's roll the shoulders up and then back. And let's reach through the fingertips to pull those shoulders away from the ears. Let's inhale and sweep up. Let's exhale as we swan dive. Bringing hands down to the mat. We're going to lead ourselves back with our right knee, then the left knee. Let's find that extended child's pose. Let's move through one half series vinyasa. And now let's bring just the right foot up to the top of our mat. We want to make sure our right knee is stacked over the right ankle so those toes are out in front. You should have your left knee back behind your hips. So we feel a little sensation here on the front of this leg. And you can choose to stay here with hands down if that's enough. Or we can come up, roll the shoulders back, shift the hips forward, kind of trying to press toward me with the hips. We're going to add a twist in here. So leave your right hand on top of the right knee. We're going to straighten out our left arm in front of us. And then we're going to move this arm slowly. Let that gaze follow that hand. And see if you can get those fingertips to point directly back behind you. Let's bring it back to center. We'll bring those hands down, and we're going to bring that left foot up to meet the right. Let's inhale, half lift. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhale, sweeping up. Exhale as we come into our chair. I almost got ahead of myself there. Inhale up, and now we'll exhale as we swan dive. Hands come down, left knee leads us back, right knee follows. Find that extended child's pose, and let's do 1/2 series vinyasa. And this time, just the left foot comes up. That right knee is back behind the hip area. Left knee stacked over the left ankle, toes out in front. Hands can stay down. You can walk it up, roll the shoulders back, press the hips toward me. And let's reach the right fingertips out. Left hand stays on the left knee, and we'll follow that hand with our gaze as it goes back behind us. Sweep it back to the front. Hands come back down. Let's bring that right foot up to meet the left. Let's inhale, half lift. Let's exhale, forward fold. Let's inhale, sweeping up. Exhale, finding chair. Inhaling up. Exhale, swan diving back down. Hands come down, and this time our right foot steps back for down dog. Left foot follows. Moving through one vinyasa. You can always drop to the knees. Option to stay in down dog, to drop to child's pose, or to extend the right leg for a 3-legged dog. Let's step or sweep this right foot to the top of our mat for our full lunge. Even more important to check that you've got knee stacked over the ankle here. If this is uncomfortable at all, you can always drop back down on that back knee. We're trying to keep the chest and chin lifted here. Trying to let those hips drop down in this pose. We're going to add a couple of twists. So we're going to bring our right arm on the inside of this right leg. And then we're going to open up and reach the left hand toward the ceiling. If you can, turning and looking up at that hand up above you. Breathing. Let's sweep that left hand back down. Right hand goes back out to its spot, and we'll twist to the other side. So left hand comes down. I should have mentioned before, you can bring the block in here. We could have had the block in here on both sides. So if you want to have the block underneath the left hand now, you can, and then we'll open up with that right arm. Breathing, looking up at that hand. Good, let's sweep it back down. And now we're gonna bring that left foot up to meet the right. Inhaling, half lift. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhale, sweeping up. Exhaling into our chair. Inhaling up. Swan diving down so we can do the other side. Hands down, we'll lead back with the left foot this time for down dog. Let's move through one vinyasa. Option to stay in down dog, drop to child's pose, or extend and raise that left leg for a three-legged dog. And then let's step or sweep this left foot to the top of our mat for our lunge. Checking again, knee stacked over ankle. You can always drop the back knee if you need to. Chest and chin up, hips dropping down. Block in place on the inside of this ankle if you would like. We're going to bring the left arm on the inside of the left leg to start, and we'll sweep that right hand up. Good, let's sweep that right hand down. It can take the spot of the left hand, and now the left hand sweeps up, twisting to the other side. Let's sweep that left hand down. And now we're going to bring that right foot up to meet the left. Let's inhale, half lift. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhale, sweeping up. Exhaling into our chair. Inhaling up. And let's exhale, bringing hands to heart center. Inhaling and exhaling. Good, option for another sip of water here real quick. We're gonna do a little bit of a challenging moving balance work next. part, being able to just hold one knee up in front of you. Simple, right? The other part, being able to try to keep your legs straight behind you as you reach down and touch the floor. Now, not everybody has that flexibility to reach down and touch the floor like that. That's why we have our block, okay? So we're gonna set that block down out in front of us, not to the side of your mat like I'm doing now, but you can set that block down out in front and you can set it on its tall end so that you can reach for it. Or if that's too easy, you could set it on its side to reach for. Okay, so if you want to use that block, you're going to set it down in front of the top of your mat. So you're going to want to get that alignment worked out as far as how far out in front of you you want that block to be able to reach down for. So play with that for a second. So let's spill all of our weight and balance over to our left foot. So spread the left toes apart, and we're going to start with the right knee pulled up in front of us. Okay? Engage this base leg. Engage, feel the quad engage. Abs zipped up and in. The core stability helps with your balance. Let's challenge and bring those arms overhead. Okay, moving balance. We're going to start to take this leg back behind us as we hinge forward and reach for the floor or our block. And then from here, we're going to try to come up without setting this foot down. See if you can pull it back in front of you. Now here's an option. If that's really hard, as you start to bring this foot in front of you, if you need to take a small little tap, just to set your balance, you could tap that foot down for just a second before you move and reach for the floor. Okay, so I've given you two options there. So take your time, try to move slowly with purpose. Now that base leg, this one, should be starting to get tired. Let's go through this movement one more time. And then we'll meet back in standing. Shake that leg out. All right, so you got the hang of it on that side. So now you know what you need to do, but it might take you one or two times to kind of teach your body what that should feel like. So again, spread the toes, get a good base, be tall, be zipped in. Let's bring that left knee up. Arms come up overhead. And then we're going to try to take that leg back behind us as we reach for the floor or the block. Move slowly, take your time. Remember, you have that option to tap the foot down as you come back through the middle each time. leg should be starting to feel tired. Maybe it's burning. Let's move through it one more time. And then we'll meet back at standing. You can shake that leg out. All right, let's come on down to our mats. We're going to find our staff pose, or stick man. Zipping the legs together. Knees touching side by side, feet touching. And then find your best posture. Try to lengthen that spine. Imagine somebody's got a rope attached to the crown of the head and they're pulling straight up. So your best posture, it's an effort to sit like this because we spend so much of our time in poor posture. That's what our body is used to, unfortunately. We need to practice this more so that our body becomes trained to do this more often instead of this. All right, so find your best posture. Roll those shoulders back and down. Let the shoulders be back, but drop down away from the ears. And those hands can either rest next to you or gently rest in your lap. Find your good breathing again here for a moment or two. We're going to come down, we're going to do one more twist that's really good for the spine, but really good work for the abdominals as well, and the obliques. So I'm going to come down to your backs, and we're going to take our arms out like a T, and we're going to take our legs both straight up and down, okay? We're going to try to glue the shoulders to the mat here. It's going to be a little difficult. One of them is going to want to roll up a little bit, and then the other will want to roll up. But we're going to see if we can keep both of them down. We're going to slowly, with lots of control, lower our legs to one side. And you may feel like, whoa, if I go too far, I'm not going to be able to come back up. So keep it small at first. You don't have to do full range of motion right at the beginning. But then you can challenge yourself to see if you can lower all the way down with control, and then see if you can bring it back up. And let's do one more on each side. And then let's relax. All right, we are going to move our mats and do some legs up the wall. So as you grab your mat and move it up against the wall, grab your strap and take it with you as well. Go ahead and get as close to the wall as you possibly can comfortably and swing those legs up. Maybe you need to scoot closer. Maybe you need to scoot further away from the wall. You decide, listen to your body. And we're going to start with the legs. So that's why I asked you to take your strap with you. Let's hook that strap on our right foot. And we're going to pull that right foot away from the wall using that strap. And now we're going to bend that right knee, pulling it down toward the right shoulder, and then pushing it back up. Down and up. And this next one, we're going to hold it down there. And then push it back up to the top, still away from the wall. Let's switch both sides of the strap over into our right hand. Drop the left arm out like a T, and we're going to release that right leg down. It does not have to come all the way down to the floor. You've got that strap, you've got control over this, so you can keep it hovering above the floor if you need to. Put a little softness in that right knee as you pull this leg back to center. And one more time, we're going to pull it in, maybe a little closer. Feel that sensation in the hamstring. Breathing, trying to relax. And then let's switch, and we'll take that strap over to the left foot. So pull that left foot away from the wall some. And now we'll pull that left knee down to the shoulder and then push that left heel up. Let's hold this next one down there. And then we'll take it back up to the top. Both sides of the strap go in the left hand, right arm drops out like a T, and we'll slowly lower that left leg out to the side. Now remember, you can leave it hovering above the floor. That's totally fine. Let's put softness in that left knee as we pull it back to center, and then we'll see if we can pull this left foot a little further away from the wall to really feel that sensation in the hamstring. And then we'll release. We'll put both feet back on the wall. You can set that strap off to the side. And now, let's take our arms overhead, and we're going to reach for the opposite elbow, like we're creating a frame around our head. So you're grabbing opposite elbow with your hands. And then we're going to pull that unit, those arms holding there, we're going to pull that right over the top of the chest. So let's take an inhale, and as we exhale, we're going to drop those arms over to the right. Gaze is up at the ceiling, but your eyes can be closed if you want. Let's inhale, bringing arms back to center, and let's exhale, arms over to the left. Inhaling, arms center. Exhaling, arms over to the right. And this time, turning the head to the right also. Inhaling, head and arms center. Exhaling, arms to the left and head to the left. Inhaling, head and arms center. Exhaling, arms to the right, and head this time turns to the left. Inhaling, head and arms center. Exhaling, arms to the left, and head to the right. Inhaling, head and arms center. And then exhaling, you can take those arms back overhead. Now your choice, we're ready for some relaxation. You can leave the arms here. You could release your grip. You could do arms over chest or abdomen. You can do arms along your sides. You decide what feels best for your relaxation. Now we've already spent several minutes here with those feet up in the air, the legs up the wall. So you may start feeling that tingling sensation as all the blood leaves your feet. We're reversing the blood flow here, which is really good for the legs, really good for the veins. So it's great, but it can also be uncomfortable if you don't practice it much. So feel free if you need to take a little break. You can always bring those feet down for a minute or two and then you can take them back up when you're ready. Find that comfortable spot. Feel the lightness in the legs and in the feet.